Goku Black. Ever wanted to throw hands with Goku? Cool, but now imagine Goku with the smug grin, a god complex, and a wardrobe from the evil celestial beings only section. That's Goku Black. Not a copy, but Zamasu, a deity who swiped Goku's body and said, "Yeah, this works," then went on a cosmic temper tantrum, wiping out civilizations because mortals were getting on his nerves. He never stops yammering about justice and mortals, all while you're getting flattened as he lectures about divine retribution and how mortals ruin everything. The man's got a monologue for every punch, then he decides to level up, goes Super Saiyan Rosé, turns pink like a deadly peony, and proceeds to smash you through mountains. He doesn't just fight dirty, he fights with extra spice, energy swords, portals, shadow clones, city-leveling blasts, and if things get tough, he fuses with himself, because apparently one egomaniac isn't enough. What really makes him terrifying? He genuinely believes he's the good guy. His utopia is just a wasteland full of howling wind and regrets. Survival odds, 1%, and that's only if you're a literal god with a backup timeline and a therapist on call. Otherwise, just don't bother. Nemesis. You're just strolling down the sidewalk, minding your own business, when someone gives your shoulder a tap and says, "Hey, my guy over there thinks you're cute." You spin around, and there's Nemesis, just standing there bellowing, "Stars!" and clutching a rocket launcher like he's offering you a bouquet. That's Nemesis in a nutshell. Picture a pro wrestler dipped in glue, handed a rocket launcher in one fist and pure malice in the other, and told his full-time gig is making sure you never experience peace again. He's not just big. He's 7 feet of Frankenstein muscle jammed into a leather coat that looks like it was rejected from the Matrix wardrobe department, and somehow, he's angrier than he even appears. He isn't quick. He's just faster than you'd ever want him to be. Bullets? They don't faze him. At most, he'll pause, give you a look like, "Excuse you?" and then start charging again. He doesn't care about strategy. He'll bust through a brick wall just to see if you've happened to spot Jill Valentine. And his head? Looks like a lollipop that fell behind a radiator and came back furry, sweaty, and ready to murder. Think you're clever. He's been blown up, thrown off buildings, set on fire, and still keeps showing up, like that annoying spam email you never managed to unsubscribe from. Unlike my channel, which you obviously want to subscribe to, you don't defeat Nemesis, you just run, reload, and pray Jill already clocked in her overtime for the week. Survival odds, 2%. Only possible if you can outrun a rocket and don't mind being launched through 5 walls on your mad dash to safety. The Predator. Picture this. A gym rat and a stealth jet had a baby. That's the Predator. He's not called Predator for nothing. That's just the job description. He doesn't want to rule Earth, just drop by and hunt the biggest threat in the room, then rip out their spine like he's collecting tickets at an arcade. You won't spot him first. His cloaking tech makes him ripple and shimmer like a heat mirage. One moment you're hiking, next thing you know your buddy's skull is on his shelf. To him, it's not personal, it's just the game. He's basically an alien CrossFit junkie with a high-tech murder kit, wrist blades, plasma guns, a shoulder laser that goes beep beep splat. He speaks in growls and clicks, like a cat trying to solve a Rubik's Cube. If you're unarmed, he might let you go. Might. But if you try to be a hero, he's already behind you, checking if your skull matches his decor. You don't beat the Predator, you just hope you amuse him. When he's done, he doesn't rage quit. He detonates the whole map and bounces. Survival odds, 5%, but only if you're covered in mud, have no weapons, and manage to pass his unspoken vibe check. Apostle Zodd. Imagine you're on a battlefield, utter chaos everywhere, when suddenly you spot him, 7 feet tall, eyes blazing red, armor shredded like he got bored with protection. That's Zodd, a demonic minotaur vampire on enough pre-workout to scare the gym. He's been fighting for over 3 centuries and still shows up like it's his first day and he's eager to prove a point. Swords, spears, they're just inconveniences. Chop off his limb, he'll just smile and say, "Now we're having fun." If you catch his interest, he'll shift into his final form, a towering, winged beast that blocks out the sun, just to see if you scream differently when he's extra monstrous. Zodd doesn't care who you are, king, knight, or random background guy. If you're strong, you're on the menu. He'll carve through your army, your castle, your horse, and still critique your fighting stance. If you do survive, he won't be mad. He'll just mentally add you to his maybe later list, not out of honor, just so he can find you for a rematch if he gets bored. You don't defeat Zodd, you just last long enough for a rematch appointment. Survival odds, 3%, but only if he's in a decent mood, you brought him snacks, and your wounds are artistically arranged. The Wendigo. The Wendigo is what happens when hunger turns into an eternal state of hangry. According to the legends around Blackwood Mountain, these creatures started as desperate people, but when they gave in to cannibalism, they unleashed a curse older than time. The moment human flesh touched their lips, they stopped being human. Bones stretch, skin tightens, minds fracture. From that point on, they're nothing but hunters, terrifyingly efficient ones. The Wendigos from Until Dawn aren't just fast, they move with an unnatural speed, like a nightmare on autopilot. You might try to hide, holding your breath, praying it doesn't hear your heartbeat, but it will. Outrunning it? Cute. It moves quicker than regret at 3 a.m., and can find you like it's got a personal tracker locked on. And the real horror? If it doesn't kill you, congratulations. You become the next Wendigo. The curse doesn't end, it just sits around waiting for another poor soul to snap. Survival odds, less than 0. You're not making it out, you're just dinner to go. Clickers. These aren't your garden variety slowpoke mall zombies. Clickers are fungal assassins, and once you hear that bone-chilling click click click, it's already over. Clickers are what happens when the wrong kind of mushroom takes charge. Cordyceps fungus hijacks your body, scrambles your brain, and turns your skull into a nightmare bouquet that looks like Kraft Day gone violently wrong. By the time you're infected, you're not even you anymore. You're a homicidal portobello with a grudge, and don't think you'll just sneak past. Trying to hide from a clicker is like playing hide-and-seek with a furious bat. They use echolocation, so the moment you make a noise, they zero in like the world's angriest librarian. If a clicker grabs you, you're about to be torn apart like a rotisserie chicken. Survive? Congrats. You're a member of the fungal fan club for life. Survival odds, 0. You either die screaming or live long enough to start clicking yourself. But hey, hit that subscribe button and maybe, just maybe, you'll survive. Cartoon cat. You spot a shadow ahead, tall, feline, unnervingly out of place. As you move closer, the hallway stretches, the lights flicker, and suddenly reality feels like it's lost the plot. Imagine Felix the cat possessed by every cursed VHS in the attic. Cartoon cat is the result. He's lanky, grotesquely bendy, and vaguely cat-shaped if you squint. Think old-time cartoon mascot, except this one wants to turn your spine into an accessory. Cartoon cat isn't alive. He's a hollow, hungry thing that feeds on fear, chaos, and maybe whatever's left of your soul. He loves hiding behind nostalgia, pretending to be harmless. He's not. Even other monsters stay away from his haunts. Abandoned malls, tunnels, liminal spaces. Places that feel wrong even on a good day. He can stretch around corners, melt through walls, and ignore physics like they're just a suggestion. Hit him with a nuke, he'd probably just T-pose through the blast. He's basically Slender Man's deranged cartoon-obsessed cousin who never stopped watching old cartoons. Think you can scare him off? Maybe. But if you hear grainy music and a wet giggle from a hallway that shouldn't exist, it's already too late. Survival odds, minus 3%. Most bodies get buried, yours gets animated. The Mist. The mist doesn't chase you or roar, it just shows up. Imagine opening your curtains one morning and the world outside is gone, swallowed in Silent Hill levels of fog. It wraps around your town like a giant damp blanket, and inside that fog, good luck. You rarely see the monsters, you just hear them, slithering, clicking, breathing way too close for comfort. Something thuds on your roof, a tendril brushes your leg in the door, a scream outside stops mid-breath. That's when you realize, the mist isn't just hiding the creatures, it's feeding them. The worst part? The mist doesn't hunt, it waits. It whispers, go ahead, step outside, it'll be fine. Spoiler, it's not. Giant tentacles snatch people up like free samples, spiders inject eggs, and flying horrors sting like oversized steak knives. Even the grocery store isn't safe. Imagine your final moments next to the frozen veggies, but the real horror isn't the monsters, it's the people. The longer you're trapped, the faster everyone goes full doomsday cult, sacrifice mode, or just plain bonkers. Society crumbles quicker than a bargain bookshelf. You don't survive the mist, you endure until you snap. Survival odds, 0% unless you're the one weirdo who brought a flamethrower to Costco. And if you think any of these nightmares can be beaten, trust me, they can't. You just haven't had the misfortune to meet them yet. Hit that like button if your survival instincts are still online, and subscribe if you want more bedtime stories from your nightmares.